Hey there everyone, and welcome to Bill's Retro Gaming Show. On today's video, we're going to be catching up with some of the latest retro gaming news, including an upcoming update for Atari's fantastic 50th anniversary collection, a rumor that Sega is remaking one of their more popular video games, and the latest release from Arcade Archives. I promise you, this one's better than the last one. Well, that's all coming up right after this. Alright everyone, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If this happens to be your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscription button. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a new video. Give this one a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you want to be part of the conversation. So let's jump right into the news and let's talk about the Atari 50th anniversary collection and an upcoming DLC update happening later this year. So last year, Atari released their Atari 50th Anniversary Collection. It's available on multiple consoles, on PC, and it is a really fun experience. There's over 100 different classic games on it. There are interviews, there are pictures that go through the history of Atari, and Atari has actually done a pretty good job of supporting it since its release, having added more games to it, since it first came out, and now it looks like they're going to be doing that again. So here we are. Atari has announced that they're going to add 39 more classic Atari games to that Atari 50th Anniversary Collection. So if you already own the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection, in just a couple of months in late October, you're going to have 39 new games to play, plus some additional add-on goodies. In addition to that, they are going to release an updated version of this in physical media with all of the games included. So looking at the announcement in this article on Game Rant, it says here that the Atari 50th, the anniversary celebration, is growing on October 25th with an extended edition that will launch on all major consoles as well as the Atari VCS. This update will add 39 games to Atari's 50th's already hefty library, as well as 2 new timelines titled The Wider World of Atari and The First Console War. The first will consist of 19 playable games and 8 video segments chronicling how Atari has continued to influence games over the decades, complete with new interviews, vintage ads, and historical artifacts that were all researched and compiled by Digital Eclipse. So one of the things that I absolutely love about this collection is the history behind it. Looking at some of those interviews and videos and just vintage photos from back in the day. So for them to not just add games, but to expand that as well, I think is going to be really fantastic. In addition, like I said, they are going to release the extended edition. Looks like there's going to be a steelbook version of this, which comes with a ton of goodies. Let me see if I can blow this up a little. So here you go. This is a steelbook collection showing off for the Nintendo Switch. It's going to come with an Al Acorn replica business card, retro Atari art cards, and marquees. So just some really cool stuff. If you like these kind of collections, if you like these kind of add-on things, then this would be something cool to pick up if you don't already own it. Like I said, if you do already own it, you're going to get these 39 games. It doesn't say whether it's paid DLC or free. The last time they did this, it was a free add-on. So right now I'm going to make the assumption it's free, but I guess we'll find out more as it gets a little closer to the release date of October 25th. Now at this stage, Atari and Digital Eclipse have just announced that they plan on doing this, adding the games, having this new enhanced edition collection coming out. They have not listed the games list for this yet, so we don't know what 39 games are going to be added onto it. Now we know that recently Atari bought some of the Stern classic games, including Berserk and Frenzy, so there's a lot of speculation that at least those 2 games could be added, whether they're the arcade versions or maybe the Atari 2600 or Berserk, maybe both. I don't know, but I think those might be a safe bet. Now, in addition, Atari recently purchased the Intellivision game library as well. Could there be a section on here for Intellivision games? There's a section of the videos titled The First Console War, which does primarily focus on Atari versus Intellivision, so it's not out of the realm to think that they may put several Intellivision games on here as well. Other than that, The Atari 2600, the arcade games are very well represented on this collection already, but some of the newer consoles like Jaguar, Lynx, the 7800 only have a handful of games each, so it would be nice to see some more games added for those consoles as well. But hopefully we'll know more as it gets closer to October. Once I see a little bit more on the games list, I'll be happy to put another video out and let you guys know what to expect when this drops October 25th. Now, another company that has been looking to make a big comeback is Sega. Last year, they announced that they were going to be working on reboots to some of their classic gaming franchises like Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, Golden Axe, and Jet Set Radio. Well, now it looks like we might be getting more than just a reboot, as there have been some leaked images on what appears to be a full remake of the original Jet Set Radio. Now, in this article from IGN, it says Sega is allegedly developing a remake of the original Jet Set Radio as a separate project to the officially announced franchise reboot, as screenshots and footage have appeared online. It's unclear if the leaks are genuine, but ex-Twitter user MSK as Y69 shared 4 images of the alleged reboot, sourcing previously reliable Sega leaker Midori. Though they were exposed to be a leaker called Mystic Distance, pretending to be someone else, blah 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 blah. You get the idea. The point here is that there are leaked images online for Jet Set Radio Remake. Here, of course, is the Twitter account in question. It says a remake of the original Jet Set Radio is in the works at Sega. It's a full remake of the Dreamcast game, and it is not related to the free-to-play reboot. Source Midori. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. So as of right now, we've got these 4 leaked images. Looks like we've got a world map here, and then some images of Beat. He's grinding on a rail, grinding on a building, and just kind of walking around from behind. And you can tell it really does look updated. I mean, the Dreamcast game looks fantastic, but it does look like they've updated the graphics on this to make it look a little more modern. I'm sure that possibly there'll be some quality of life updates to it as well, but it's supposed to be a remake of the original game and completely separate from the supposedly open world reboot that they're also going to be working on and coming out with at some point in the future. And there you have it. That is the Jet Set Radio Remake. Again, with all of these leaks and rumors and things like that, you know, we've seen this a lot lately in the home arcade scene. You've got to take some of this stuff with a grain of salt. But I do have to say that they look fairly authentic to me, you know, to my untrained eye, at least as far as this kind of game is concerned. So we'll have to wait and see if there's any official announcement from Sega or if we hear more as the game develops further. But let me know your thoughts. Are you a fan of Jet Set Radio? Would you be interested in them doing a remake of the Dreamcast game? Or are you just excited that they're going to be completely rebooting the franchise and making a brand new game based on that Jet Set Radio universe? And finally, let's take a look at the latest release from Hamster Corporation into their Arcade Archives collection. And newly released into the Arcade Archives collection is the game Jackal from Konami. Now, Jackal was originally released in the arcades in 1986. It is a top-down, vertical, scrolling shooter where you play as a special forces operator, and you're tasked with going behind enemy lines and rescuing POWs. You drive a Jeep around. It's got an 8-way joystick in it to drive the Jeep around, and it's got 2 buttons, one that fires your machine gun. The machine gun always fires upward, and then you've got grenades or rocket launchers or different things that you can upgrade that always fire in whatever direction your Jeep is headed. Now, you can play this as a 2-player game. You can see on the Jeep there, it's got a number 1 on the hood. If a second player joined, it would have a number 2 on it, so you could tell the difference between the two. But this was a fun, early, like I said, vertical shooter type scrolling game from Konami. Now, as I said, Jackal is part of Hamster Corporation's Arcade Archives, where they release classic arcade games, typically priced right around $7.99. That's what this one is. You can pick this up for Switch or PlayStation, and add it to your collection if you're a fan of the Arcade Archives games. The last game that they released was Roston 2, which is not a very good game at all. So I'm happy to see them be back on track with a fun classic game from Konami in Jackal. This is one doesn't get a lot of love. You don't see it added to a lot of other collections so much. So if you're a fan of these top-down vertical shooter type, something a little different than being in a plane or spaceship, being on the ground in a Jeep, then this might be a game for you. Again, this is available for Switch or PlayStation at the price of $7.99. And there you have it. That is the latest retro gaming news. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you a fan of this Atari 50th Anniversary Collection? I absolutely love it. It is definitely one of my favorite games that I have. I have it on my Switch. I pull it out, play it every once in a while, so I'm excited to see them add another 39 games to it. This will bring that collection up to over 150 games on it, which is pretty amazing. So I'm excited to see what games they add. Like I said, I'm thinking that Berserk and Frenzy make a lot of sense. Certainly Berserk, maybe some of the Intellivision games, or maybe they'll just add some games from some of their later consoles, 5200, 7800, Lynx, Jaguar. Again, we'll just have to wait and see as it gets closer, but let me know. If you haven't picked it up, are you considering it with the expanded edition that's coming out? That'll have all 150 plus games on it, plus those extra goodies. And what do you think of Sega remaking Jet Set Radio? Is that a game that you're a fan of? Would you be excited to see them bring that back? Like I said, it looks like this is separate from the reboot that they want to do. So it's a complete ground up remake of the classic Dreamcast game. Let me know your thoughts. And finally, in the Arcade Archives, what do you think of Konami's Jackal? Is that a game that you're familiar with? Is it a game that you enjoy? Are you a fan of the Arcade Archives? Do you think it's $7.99? Maybe they're priced a little too high, or or is this something that you would pick up, or is this a pass for you? No, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and leave me those comments below. That's all for now. I'll see you guys on the next one. Whatever you do, go ahead, enjoy your games, have a lot of fun, happy gaming, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.